Everyone. So this is number 3 of my Stamp With Me classes during our coronavirus pandemic. So I'm just going to give it a few more seconds for everybody to find me. Looks like you guys are finding me okay. Hello. So I'm glad you're here. I thought I was going to have to give up. This was my last try. Okay, so let's see. Today we are creating a card folder with 4 cards in it. Now I'm going to show you the one that I made, and I'm actually using different designer paper that I showed you on what you needed for supplies. So this is the one I used using the, let me dig out my little sheet. Using the Magnolia Lane designer paper, and then the one that I'm doing with you, I should have had my little papers ready. The one that I'm doing with you, I'm using the Woven Threads designer paper. I just wanted to use different papers just to give you a different idea, because I know everyone's is going to be different. And that's the purpose of this class, so you guys can use what you have on hand. So this is the front and the back. And when you open up by untying the ribbon, there's 4 cards on the inside. And this is really easy to create. We're going to do this first. And then these are the 4 cards. I'm going to lay them all out, and I'll bring them out one at a time as we're working on them. So again, what we are doing today, that we are doing a little different from the first class that we did when we did the One Sheet Wonder. This one is a 6 by 6 inch One Sheet Wonder. I gave you guys the pattern, so hopefully you have everything cut up ahead of time. I have mine all cut up and ready to play with. And then, like I said, we're going to do 1 card at a time. But we're going to start out with the card holder. So you're going to need your cardstock that measures 11 by 8.5. And then you're going to bring in your scoring tool, because we're going to do a little bit of scoring. So everybody get ready. Is anyone stamping with me today? Okay, so we're going to do, so give me a little thumbs up or a heart if you're stamping with me, so I'll know that to go slow to make sure everybody stays caught up with me. Okay, I see some thumbs up coming through. Okay, so on the 11-inch side, we're going to score 2 times, 5 1/4 and 5 3/4. So you're just going to have a 1/2 inch in between the score lines. So again, 5 1/4 and 5 3/4. Okay. Oh, good. I have quite a few of you guys stamping. Great. Now, once you get those 2 score lines, you're going to flip your cardstock over to the 8.5 inch side. I'm just going to wait a little bit. And we're going to score that side at 2.5. And that's it for score lines. So I'm going to repeat again, just in case someone's joining in late. On the 11-inch side, 5 1/4, 5 3/4. You're going to turn to the 8.5 inch side and do 2.5. Now you're going to need a pair of scissors. And what we're going to do on the side, that's the 2.5 inch where we scored, we're going to cut off this little rectangle in the middle up to the score line. Make sure you cut it nice and neat right here. And to make it easier for folding, I'll show you what I did here. I did a little angle cut on each side. So you're going to go to the outside about 1/4 inch and angle to that little inside cut. So you're just cutting off a little sliver. So let's do that on both sides. And then you're just going to score on the score lines. So that's going to fold to the inside. And then again on the inside. And the reason we have 1/2 inch in the middle, a 1/2 inch space, is because of the height of having 4 cards inside. So it looks like a little book when you're done. Okay, so that's what your folder should look like. I'm just gonna hold on, make sure everybody's caught up. And then you're gonna bring in your pieces that we cut ahead of time. Now these are 2 designer pieces that measure, designer paper pieces. These measure 5 and 5/8 by 4 7/8. I know you guys probably cringed on the fraction, but we need this to fit perfectly. So 5 5/8 by 4 7/8. And we're going to glue that to the front and the back. There's one piece. Now I did not, you guys can use any stamps that you want, because you're just going to do this white piece in the front, this white layer. And then the cards, all you needed was sentiment. So if you don't want to finish the white layer while we're doing this, you can always finish it later. I'm going to show you how I do mine. So this one here I did with the Magnolia stamp set, and I colored with blends markers. So if you happen to be using the same designer paper, this is the Petal Pink blends marker and Mossy Meadow, and then I stamped with the Memento black ink. Okay, so we've got 2 pieces on. The next 2 layers that you needed, now you just I picked 2 colors to match my paper. I went with the Seaside Spray and the Rococo Rose. So the next one is the Rococo Rose. So it would be your larger that goes under your white. This one measures 4 3/4 by 5 1/4. We're going to go ahead and glue that in place. So that's going to be centered in the front. You might as well leave the card folder open, because we need to do the ribbon next. Okay, so there's the front piece. Now you also needed 4 pieces of ribbon. We needed a 16-inch piece, a 20-inch piece, and that's the one we're using for the folder. We needed a bow, and we needed a knot. So now I'm going to bring in tear and tape. And what I did is I positioned my ribbon so that it was pretty much over to the end of this flap, so it would keep the flap intact when we do the bow. So I'm going to go ahead and so it's at 2 1/2. I'm going to use my grid paper just so I can go straight across. And I need to be, let me see, I'm going to dig out, I don't have my ruler. I'm going to have to use the grid line on this side, 2 1/2. I'm going to add my tear and tape. Make sure I go nice and straight across. That's why it's good to have these grid sheets, because that allows you to go nice and straight. Okay, we shouldn't need the tear and tape again. So now we're going to go ahead and remove the backing. And I'm just going to hold off, let you guys get caught up. Just prepare the ribbon in my hand. Now, let's see if I can move this back in the middle. Okay. I think I work better if I put this on this side so you guys can see it. Now, how I do my ribbon, I leave this open, and then I find the center point of my ribbon. So I'm just going to fold it in half. There's my center point. And I'm going to put that right in the middle. Go straight across. And then the same thing on this side. Okay, so there's the start of our folder. One more piece, and that's the Whisper White we've got left to do. So let me just go ahead and prepare what I need for ink. So today I'm using Seaside Spray, Rococo Rose, and Terracotta Tile. Those are the 3 colors of my designer paper. And the stamps that I'm using is the Woven Heirlooms. And I'm using all of the sentiments, and I'm going to use this large part right here. And that's what I'm going to bring in. I'm using Seaside Spray for the ink. And I want my background to be really, really light, so I'm going to actually stamp on my scrap first, then on my white. Now this Whisper White measures 4.5 by 3 inches. So again, I'm going to ink my stamp it on my scrap, and I'm going to go diagonally with mine. So you can see how light that is. I didn't want it to be too dark. Again, stamp on my scrap. So I'm going to keep going until I fill this in. So I'm actually stamping this 5 times. Okay, so that makes for a cute background by going diagonal. Okay, now I'm going to wait just a little bit. I know you guys, is anyone stamping their white piece, or are you guys going to wait until you're done with the project and decide what you want on it? Because if you guys are stamping, I'll wait a little bit for you to catch up. Oh, I get a thumbs up. Now, what I decided I wanted to do on my front, I'm going to keep going. So I'm going to use dimensionals to glue this in place. And remember that you guys can go back and view the video later. It stays on the page if you guys want to create, because I really love that you guys are showing me your projects when you're done. Okay, so you guys are waiting to stamp. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this part so you guys can see how I'm doing this one. And I'm really anxious to see what you guys are going to do for your front. So that's going to go right there. And then what I did with mine, that's where my heart punches came in. I used the 2 hearts from the heart punch pack. So I went ahead and cut out 2 with the Seaside Spray, and then 2 with the same designer paper. I'm going to go ahead and glue the designer paper to my heart. Whoops. And these really layer nice together. And then I'm going to glue these in place with dimensionals. Now I opted not to add a sentiment to the front of my folder. I didn't on this one either. Let's glue the other heart. And then we'll start working on the cards. The cards are really quick because I made you guys do your embossing ahead of time. I hope you did your embossing. I'm just going to glue my heart. So Karen, I don't have that paper or stamp set. Thinking of what I have. Yes, that's the beauty of this. You can use any paper that you have on hand, and you can use any stamp set. That's what I'm trying to do with all of these classes that I'm hosting for you. So you can use what you have on hand. Oh, I don't like the way I glued this. It's not centered. I don't like that. There, that's better. And then what I decided to do, I think after I posted the pictures, I wanted something in the center of my heart. So I'm using the small bloom punch. I've gone ahead and cut 4 flowers. And I'm actually going to layer them. I'm going to use the mini dimensional. And I'm just going to layer the 2 flowers together. Now this is the last week you guys can earn this little punch for free. I'm I'm going to go ahead and add liquid glue on my flowers. Celebration is done after this week, or one more week. I'm going to add those right in the center. And then I have some in color faceted gems here. I have little parts because this was from a product share that I did. I'm actually going to use the big ones and put them in. Oh, look how pretty that is. Okay, so there's my card holder. Isn't that cute? And then again, this was the one with the magnolia. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the cards. While you guys catch up, I'm just going to start bringing my stuff out. I've got all of my stamps. Now, I had asked you guys to cut 4 card bases, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And what I did with mine, let me bring out the other cards first. So on the other set of cards, I used the tufted embossing folder. Let me see if you can see that. And that's what this folder looks like. And for this set of cards, I'm actually using the Swirls and Curls embossing folder. So you can see how pretty that is too. So I did all 4 cards with the same folder. I'm going to go ahead and score on the score line. So now what we need to do, you need to have your designer paper that you cut up ahead of time in front of you. I'm going to show you why. So card number 1 is going to be this one. We're going to do the Thinking of You. So these are the pieces that go with card number 1. You need to take this long strip and you're going to find this one that overlaps over it. We're going to glue that together. So each cardstock piece that I had you cut ahead of time, you're going to have a designer paper that layers over it. So there's that one. Even this little tiny piece, this 3/4 inch piece, that's going to go over this little tiny square. So on this One Sheet Wonder, we used it all. Now for this one, I believe it's going to be this one right here. Nope, it's not. I got to find the right one. Oh, you know what? Never mind. This is the white one. So all you need on card number 1 is the long strip, the little tiny one, and then the white is going to overlap. So let's go ahead and stamp. Let me see what I'm stamping on this one. This one is totally different. And this one says, wishing you a day of love and joy. That's going to go right on the white. And then we're going to layer that on with dimensionals. So again, you're working on card number 1 of 4. We're just gluing all of our 3 layers together. Okay, so there's the 3rd piece. So we have these all ready to go. The first thing we're going to do before we glue these down is add the ribbon. So now you need the 16-inch piece of ribbon. Oh, Suzanne, you need the white measures. Let me see, I have all my measurements here. 2 inches by 2.5 inches on the white. So now what we need to do is add our ribbon around the inside flap. And we're just going to tie a double knot. Now I have to be careful with this ribbon because it's one-sided, so I have to twist it to make sure that the tails are going to go in the right direction. And then, where's my scissors? There's my scissors. We're going to cut the ends into an angle. And again, like I showed you, I think in the last class, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to bring in the glue dots. put this where I want it. Let's see, I'm going to go a little higher right there because this is going to go above that. I'm going to use the glue dots and glue the knot down. So add a glue dot to the bottom. And this little guy here wants to twist on me. So I'm going to add a glue dot so that he can stay in place. There, look, perfect. You can't even tell I did that. Don't tell anyone. Okay, now we're going to glue this long strip. Oh, Melanie, you don't have my instructions for cutting. I posted, I think it was 2 days ago. There should be a post that tells you everything that you need. Now this is going to go about 1/4 of an inch above my ribbon. Just like that. Now something I want to explain about my cards. So this designer paper, I really wanted to use this pattern only because it has so many colors in it. But I do not like this side, so I'm not opting to use this side. On all of my cards from the first batch of cards, you'll see that I flipped the designer paper over. So I have actually 2 patterns going, but on this set of cards, I'm just using the same designer paper because really I don't like this side at all. Oh, and I took my card away. Now we're gonna go ahead and glue this one with dimensionals. So we got quite a few layers of dimensionals. Oh, Diane is saying, good tip, adding a glue dot to the ribbon. Yes, if you have a ribbon that does not want to cooperate, that's what I usually do. Okay, now we're going to glue this in place. And I'm also going to glue this one with a dimensional. Now I'm thinking because this is actually going to be glued to the ribbon, I don't want my ribbon to move, so I'm going to go ahead and sneak a glue dot right there just so that my ribbon doesn't raise up when I glue this little triangular piece on there. And that's going to go diagonally just like that. And then we're going to add some bling. I'm going to add a big one in the center. I might have to dig out some more bling. I don't think I took enough out. And then the medium-sized one, I'm going to add one in each corner. Okay, so there's card number 1. So you can see how different the colors look and the patterned paper looks. So like I said, I'm really anxious to see what you guys are going to use for your cards. Okay, I'm just going to stall just a little bit so everybody is caught up. And I'm going to see if I get more bling in this color. I keep them all in this little container. These are the best containers to use to store your bling. These are the half cases. I've got some more right here. I can see them right there. I've got plenty. Okay, now let's go for card number 2, which is, let me dig it out. I gotta find the right one. It's going to be this one. So the pieces you need, again, the same card base, and then 2 pieces. Oh, you want to see the card? Sorry, I didn't know you weren't done. There, let me leave it right there. So you guys, is someone still working on their cards? I'm going to wait a little bit longer if you are. I'm just going to get my pieces ready. Okay, I don't see anybody saying they're still working. I'm going to bring the cards all back out, and also I always add pictures to our Facebook page so you guys can see the individual pictures also. Okay, I see 2 hearts, so somebody's still working. So let me just get everything else ready. Let's see, I need a punch for the next one. And what else? Oh, we're going to need the bow for the next one too. So if you already made your bow, Okay, still working. Go ahead and work, you guys. I'm just gonna keep finding all my pieces for the next card. And my counter is a disaster, so I'm just gonna put stuff aside while I wait for you. I see 3 of you guys are still working. I wish we could talk to each other. That way you guys could tell me to heal if I needed to. I tend to be a fast worker too, so it's hard for me to go slow sometimes. And the next one is not too bad. Oh, we're going to need scrap. We're going to need scrap paper on the next one too. You're going to need your colored cardstock and your white. Diane says that I'm sweet, that I let everyone catch up before you move on. I want to know, I love these classes that, oops, I can't see your whole comment. Let me see if I can click on that. So if some of you guys did not attend my first 2 classes, that I started this when the coronavirus was getting so bad. I know a lot of you guys are home alone. A lot of you guys are just stuck at home, not being able to go out. So I just wanted to keep you busy and I want to stamp with you. And I already have a request for the next class. I had somebody ask me about a card fold last night. So I think I have 2 card folds planned for the next class. So I know you guys like card folds. Okay, Gloria's all done. You guys are asking me, but when I say heal, I mean stop, heal. You want me to stop. Laura's caught up. It's funny, when I watch my video, I have my iPad right in front of me, and when I watch what I just said, it literally takes about 45 seconds for me to see it. The lag time is so different. Okay, looks like everybody is caught up, I think. So let's go on to card number 2. So card number 2 is the one with these 2 pieces. So again, we're going to have to find the designer paper that goes. So this one here, which would have been the bottom right-hand strip. And let's see what this one is. And then the bottom of the middle row. So let me move this aside. I'm going to leave this one right here just in case. And this is the one we're making this time, the one on the bottom. So let me fold my cardstock. I hope my voice doesn't run out because I have a sore throat. And no, I don't have the virus. I'm starting a head cold. I can feel it. It's that time of the year. Okay, we're going to glue the 2 designer papers to the coordinating layer. So there's the first one. And again, if you have designer paper that has 2 beautiful patterns, I swapped them out here. I flipped it over. But this orange just looks terrible on the Rococo Rose. That's why I did not want to use it. I'm a matchy-matchy kind of person. I'm really anal about that, and I just didn't feel that looked good. Okay, there's the 2 layers. Now we need to do the sentiment layer. And I'm going to show you a little trick. Now I am using the Label Me Lovely punch. You can use any punch you want for your sentiment. So I'm going to bring in my scrap white. And I can't remember if this is the one. What did we use on the first card? No, I already used that one. I think I messed up. Because I don't think this one will fit in this punch. Nope, it will not. I should have used the other sentiment, but that's okay. I'll use the same one. It's a nice sentiment anyway. I'm stamping with the Seaside Spray. And I'm going to cut that out with the punch. Now I wanted to layer this punch shape the same way that we layered the other 2. So I'm going to use a scrap and cut 2 more out. And I'm just going to wait a little bit. So if you want to layer your sentiment, even though you have a different punch, this probably will work for your punch also. So what we're going to do is cut this in half with the bumps on the top and the bottom. And then we're going to cut the other one in the opposite with the two flat pieces on the top and the bottom. So actually, if I put them facing the same way, you're going to see they're cut opposite. So now what we want to do is the side with the bumps. I'm going to add some glue adhesive. We're going to take the side with the bumps and we're going to layer that underneath. Now, the thing you need to be careful of, you want to make sure that your sides are lined up. And you also want to make sure, you see how you have 1/4 of an inch. You want to have about 1/4 of an inch. You want that to match. So you're going to add one on the top and one on the bottom. So there's one side. And now because I want to put this here, but these bumps interfere. So what we're going to do, we're just going to cut them off. So this is going to look like a vase when you're done with it. Okay, so this is what that looks like. You're going to do that to both pieces. And then we're going to add adhesive. And again, you're going to make that stick out about 1/4 of an inch on both sides. And look how pretty that is. You can't even tell. It looks like a mess. It's a hot mess on the back, but it's nice on the front. Now, while I'm waiting for everyone to catch up, I'll show you how to do that with another punch that you may have. Let me bring it in. Let me get some more scrap paper. So how about if you have the everyday label punch? Let's do the same thing. So pretend there's a sentiment on here. I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 of these. That's why I say you can do this with any of your punches. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to cut vertically. And we're going to cut horizontally. So this one is just a practice one. I'm not using this one. So we're going to add glue to the ends. This is just me wasting time while everybody else catches up. So again, we're going to do that on one end. On end number 2. Add some glue on the 2 sides that we're going to glue this to. There's that one. Now there is a little piece sticking out there, so I do need to trim this just a little bit. So I should have done the same thing on this one. Just take out those little bumps. And then we're going to add this. And look. See how easy? You can do this with any punch. Okay, I think I gave enough time for everybody to be caught up. This one is really easy. We're going to glue the rectangle. I am going to add a lot of adhesive only because of the embossing. This is going to be about 3/4 of an inch from the edge, from the left side. And then this one is going to butt up against it. So there's your 2 little pieces. Now we're going to add dimensionals to the sentiment. And we got to have some bling on this one too. You know that, right? And this is going to go right. And what I did here, because there's 3/4 of an inch there, there's going to be 3/4 of an inch here too. We got to have it match. It's just got to look good. Okay, there's that. And then the last part, or before the bling, is the bow. Where's my glue dots? I gotta have a glue dot. If you've watched me before, you know I always add a glue dot, and then I also add liquid glue. That way your bow won't fall off. And your glue dot actually holds it in place while your liquid glue dries. So there's the bow. Now this one, I really don't have a lot of room for bling like I do on this one. So I think what I'm going to do is just take a medium-sized one, and I'm just going to stick one in the corner there instead. Okay, so there's card number 2. Now, I don't like the tails. My bow's too long. I'm going to cut these tails a little bit shorter. There we go. So there's card number 2. I'll leave it right here in case somebody still needs it. And let me set up for card number 3. We've got 2 more to go. And this is our third one. So 1, 2, 3. And this one is the one with the 2 large pieces. And again, we're going to bring in our designer paper. Find the matching one. So the big one at the top and the one right below it. So let's go ahead and fold the card base. And we can go ahead and glue the designer paper over the cardstock. And again, it looks really pretty with the 2 patterns. But no, not this one. Okay, there's your 2 pieces. Now we got to go ahead and do a sentiment. And for this one, now what was I going to do on this one? Let me see. Okay, I was going to show you how to do the thank you so much by only inking part of it at a time with a marker. Because this is one larger sentiment, this one is not. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to color the thank you first with a marker. And then we need to clean that off. I need to find my chamois. And right below that, I'm going to color so much. So it's going to be a 2-line sentiment instead of a 1-line sentiment. Oh, I feel like I'm losing my voice. Okay, see how I did the 2 lines instead of 1? And I used Seaside Spray for the ink, just like the ink pad. And we need circle punches for this one. So I'm using the 1.5 inch and the 1 3/8 inch. So the white is going to be with the 1 3/8 inch. And Rococo Rose with the 1.5 inch. And I layered this together with dimensionals. Now, you do need to bring in your your ribbon spool because we need to put one around the top. I didn't have measurements from that one because we're just going to wrap that one around the top. So make sure that your designer paper, the longest way is going vertical. We're going to add glue on the back. I opted on this one. I did it around the designer paper, but this one is so much thicker that I'm doing around the 2 layers together. So all I'm going to do is put that on the front and wrap it around. Cut this off. Make sure it's nice and straight. And wrap it around. So that's what this layer looks like. Okay, I'm going to wait a little bit because I did quite a bit here. So we've got this layer with the ribbon, this layer with the designer paper, and then the sentiment layer. I'm just going to wait till everyone's caught up. And then we got one more card to do, and we'll be done the whole gift card keeper folder, whatever you want to call it. And these would make nice gifts for everyone too. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this in place. And that one is just at an angle this way. And I kind of watch, what I watch for when I'm doing this is the evenly spaced here, here, and here. Press down. And then we're going to glue the second one in. That one's going to go straight across. And because I only have a 1/4 of an inch here, I'm going to have a 1/4 of an inch here also. Okay, there's my 2 layers. And then we get the sentiment that's going to go right here. And lastly, we're going to add some blanks. I'm going to see if I can use these little pieces right here. So here's a large one and 2 little tiny ones. Okay, so there's card number 3. Pretty simple. I'm going to leave that here just for a second while I get everything else out for card number 4. Card number 4 is the one with the most layers. So we have 3 pieces of designer paper left. Are we doing card 3 or card 4? Right now, this one is card 3 that I'm waiting for you guys. I'm just getting everything ready for card 4. So far we've done 3 cards. Really simple layers, really simple gluing. Just slap everything together and slap it on your card. Is anyone still stamping? Am I going too fast? Give me a thumbs up if you're still stamping, just so I can wait a little bit. Okay, I see a thumbs up. Oh, I should take my hands out of the way too so you can see the card. So these 2 right here. Oh, a lot of thumbs up. Okay. So what else can we talk about? So celebration ends. We got 1 more week. And then we go into April. Did you guys see the new ornate garden suite coming up? I should show you those cards. Let me go get them. I don't have them all here, but remember the 2 projects we made the other day when we made the notebook and the clipboard? That's using the new ornate suite. I have a card that goes with that, but I don't have it. Oh, here it is. There's the card that goes with that. And then this was the one that I did during the live. It's the same thing, but using the different patterns. And this card I made for the demo design dream team that I'm on. This team of ours creates and we give free project sheets to our customers and our teams. And this is the one that I made. It's actually a corner flip card. So I love the way that this sits. And then when you open it, look how pretty that is. So my customers and team members are going to get a project sheet on how to make this. I'll probably do a Facebook Live on that too. Okay, what else is coming up in the Stampin' Up! World? I can't think right now. I've been really busy just trying to keep everybody stamping and everybody busy. So at least I always miss you live due to my work. Well, the good thing is my videos are always on the page, so you can go see them anytime you want. Okay, are we ready for card number 4? I'm gonna think we are, because this one was easy. There was not that many layers to glue together. So let's go ahead and move on to card number 4. So we have 3 designer papers left over. And on card number 4, these are the 3 layers that correspond. And then we had these 2 for the sentiment. And again, this is the same card base. We're going to fold it over. And we can go ahead and glue all of the designer paper layers. So for those of you using 2 patterns, you just decide which one you want to put where. You can see how I did them on the first set. So there's number 2 and number 3. Okay, so there's your 3 layers. Now where's my card? That would help if I would bring my card in. There's card number 4. I love the sentiment on this one. I couldn't find one. The one I'm doing with this stamp set is not as big, but it's Thinking of You. We can all use Thinking of You cards right now. I contacted our church to find out how many shut-ins we had, and I was notified today there's about 50 from our church that are either in nursing homes, and I'm going to drop off 50 cards to our church so that they can send them to the shut-ins. Okay, so now I'm going to ink my stamp with Seaside Spray. So Thinking of You. And this is going to be glued in place with dimensionals. I have a lot of cards made up ahead, so I thought it would be a good thing to do for people that are feeling a little lonely right now. I'm also doing the 40 cards for Lent thing, and I've got 30 sent out, so I've got a lot of those already sent out. Okay, there's my Thinking of You. And we're going to add a little bit of blink to that one too. Now let's see, that one needs a little bit more to it. I'm going to do, instead of just doing 2 in bottom corners, I'm going to do all 4 corners. Okay. Now how I did this one, because there's 4 layers, again, we've got 1/4 of an inch around and around. So I glued the 2 corner pieces on first. So let's go ahead and glue those on. The wider one goes at the top. So 1/4 of an inch at the top and on the side. And 1/4 of an inch on the bottom and the side. So there's the first 2 pieces, layers. Oh, we need the knot on this one too. And then the large piece is going to go in the middle. And you can stick that anywhere you want, as long as it's even on each side. And I can't remember if I glued that one down flat. So your sentiment layer is going to be glued down flat. I keep getting dimensionals stuck all over my snail. It's driving me crazy. Okay, this one is going to go centered. And then the little bow, we're going to again add a glue dot. And some liquid glue. Is it on there? Yep, it's on there. A little bit of liquid glue. And we're just going to put that right there at the bottom. And there's card number 4. So that's all of the cards. So what I'm going to do while everybody's catching up, I'm going to bring in my first set. I'll leave this one out. And you can see that these just fold over. You just add 2 cards. And of course you would add envelopes in here too. I didn't put the envelopes in. And what would be pretty is if you use the same designer paper to do your envelope flaps. So this just goes inside. You fold it over. Do up your bow. And then we're going to do the same thing with the other one. Okay, there's my first one. Now let's go ahead and bring in the one we just worked on. So if you tuned in late, that's the front of my folder. And I'm going to add 2 cards to each side, again, along with the envelopes. And 2 more cards on this side. I'm not going to close this in case someone's still working on card number 4. I'm just going to leave that right there. And that's my project for today. I hope a lot of you guys are going to do one of these. I really want to see your pictures. If you guys would love to show off your work and you don't know how to put pictures on Facebook, please contact me because I can show you how to do that. It's so easy. You can do it from your iPhone. You can do it from a tablet or right on your laptop. Just ask me for help and I'll help you and show you how to do that. I would love to show you how to do that. So I will be back on, let's see, today's Thursday. I've got a Facebook Live on Sunday on my Debbie's Designs page. So I probably will be with you either Saturday or Monday. I'll announce it. I don't have any projects ready right now. So have a nice day, everyone, and thanks so much for joining me today.